What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA. I'm Narco Cop. I'm joined by Tim here. We're going to break down Bellator 273, Bader versus Moldavsky. What's up, Tim? Thank you for joining me, man.
Not much. Mike, what's up with you?
Not much, dude. No UFC this week, so we have to do a little detour and give these people some picks on Bellator 273.
Let's get into it. Let's chop it up.
Ready? Are you ready? Okay, cool. Let's start. Fight number one. It is Ben Parrish going up against Sullivan Cauley. Do you have anything here, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, Ben Parrish is coming off of being a humongous underdog, fighting against Christian Edwards, knocked him out within the first minute. Really dangerous fighter, likes to go for the kill, has actually underrated grappling skills as well. I tend to think that the line is kind of like overreacted a little bit to his last performance. I don't have any bets, but I actually would be on the Cauley side as a pick. How about you?
Yeah, for me, honestly, I have a small play here. I have a bet of under 1.5 at minus 135. And kind of my reasoning is when you watch Ben Parrish fight, like the guy just goes in there chucking bombs. You see in his 6 fights, every one of them has gone inside the distance. And when I say inside the distance, within like 2 rounds, like every one of them. Sullivan Cauley, on the other hand, like both his wins inside the first round. The guy is a Golden Gloves boxer. He has good hands. And I just think, honestly, I think this fight's going to be standing and these guys are just going to fucking trade. I know Cauley can take this guy down, but Cauley likes to box, and and that's his background, right? He's a Golden Gloves boxer. So I think, when you watch Parrish and the way he fights, he's the type of guy that just throws caution to the wind, and he seems like he has power. So I can see any one of these guys getting knocked out, and honestly, under 1.5 in these big boy fights that are kind of sloppy. These guys are not that technical. They're both kind of sloppy. So I honestly, I could see a finish here. And I know it's minus 135, under 1.5, but there's nothing on tape that shows me these guys can't both finish one another at some point early. So yeah, I went with a bet of minus 135 for 1 unit.
I think I'm going to tail you on that. I like that bet.
Fight number 2, it is the young gun Lucas Brennan going up against Ben Lugo. We kind of talked about this one, and let's just say it straight up. Like, this line right now just doesn't make sense to me. You got Lucas Brennan at minus 1,600 in some spots, minus 1,375, and what on tape can you possibly come up with that this guy's minus 1,375 to warrant this line? I mean, I know the guy has great BJJ. He's a BJJ black belt. His dad is a 5th degree BJJ black belt. I know his dad, the whole family is involved with jiu-jitsu, and they're all really good. His brother, I guess, is a brown belt, and he's a wrestler. His brother is. But, like, when you watch this guy's tape, like, his wrestling is not all that good. His jiu-jitsu is good, but, like, who has he fought? Like, right? He hasn't fought good opposition at all. And the one fight that it went to this decision was against a guy in Andrew Salas, who was up a division, had the guy in the ground for a long periods of times and couldn't finish this guy. Now we're going to go on the Ben Lugo side, and you're going to see that Ben Lugo has a boxing background, right? He's fought better opposition. Albeit he's lost to these guys, but like just going back to his last fight, against a guy in Natan Levy who's in the UFC. I mean, extremely close fight, majority decision loss, but like he almost had Levy out of there in that fight. And Levy himself is has a really good ground game, has way better wrestling than Brennan does. So, you're just kind of like looking at that fight and saying, this guy looked like he was plus 150 against Natan Levy. And now you're telling me he's plus 900 against a 21-year-old Lucas Brennan that hasn't been tested, like honestly, it's like a no-brainer. Like you have to play Ben Lugo here. I'm telling the chat, I'm telling anybody that watches this, maybe he loses. I'm not saying he's going to win for sure, but that line is 100% warranted for you to play Ben Lugo at that price. So yeah, I got a total of 0.5 units. I hammered him at plus 850. I played him at plus 790. And I also played the over 1.5 at minus 115, which I think is a really good spot because I just don't believe Brennan's going to finish this guy that easy. Like Lugo, like I said, he was on the ground for a good amount against Levy, and he was defending really good. And going back and looking at his, his professional career, right? He's got subbed one time in his second pro fight against Josh Huber, who had 28 pro fights at the time. So can you blame the guy for losing there, like by submission? But other than that, the guy hasn't lost by sub, seems to defend pretty good, and getting, this price is astronomical. So yeah, sorry, it was long-winded, but I have a bunch of plays on it. So what do you have?
No worries at all. It's all incredibly logical. I mean, I love everything you just said. You might be on. I mean, it's a classic process over results type situation here, where the process is right. If you look at it the way that you just said, and you say, why would I bet this guy at this line in the same situation? There's just no way. They're like, you're paying a tax on this guy for what reason? He's 21 years old. Just 5 fights ago, he wasn't even fighting 5-minute rounds. It's just makes no sense. Like, just bet the money line on Lugo, no matter what. It's just like it's a process over results. If you're making this bet 100 times, you're going to make bank at the end of the year. So there's nothing to add on that except for, just think of the process over the result. When you take a loss like this, you don't really look at it like, oh, every time I'm betting even a plus 300, you're not supposed to win that bet. So if you're getting a plus 800, just don't expect it to win. And when it does, just be extraordinarily happy.
Yeah, honestly, that's one. And another thing I didn't mention is, like, honestly, Lucas Brennan's striking game is awful. He's very green. If this stays like standing for periods of time, like I totally won't be shocked that Ben Lugo knocks this guy out. Because,
yeah, you're right, man. He killed Levy. I mean, he almost killed Levy in that second round. He really did.
He has that background, right? He has boxing. He has actual boxing fights, and he has actual kickboxing fights, right? So, like, this guy's experienced striker. He's decent. I'm not gonna say he's great, but compared to Brennan, he's probably great. So, like, you're getting plus 800. Like, it's honestly a no-brainer. Go play this. If he loses, whatever, don't put anything big. But like, it's a no-brainer type of play for me. With that being said, we'll move on to the next fight. It is, give me 1 second. It is Nikita Mikhailov going up against Blaine Schutt. What do you got here, Tim?
Yeah, this is an absolute tomato can smash spot of the night. This is a line I think that's actually justified. There's nothing on Schutt that says he's warranted to, or he has any path really to beat Nikita. He's not going to beat it. The only path he has is taking him to the ground, which he's not going to be able to. And if he does get it to the ground, I feel like he's even at a disadvantage in BJJ against him. Nikita's actually pretty slick off the ground, but Nikita's going to just strike. I mean, he wants to actually just strike, and he's got very good hands, very good power in his hands. He's super aggressive. This is one of those actual Bellator parlay pieces where I would actually put him in a parlay with a few guys to get the line down. Or the best bet, one of the best bets in the card, I really feel, is like the under 2.5 at plus 140 on DK for this fight. It just makes no sense to me. There's no way that I see Schutt lasting 5. Honestly, I could see it finishing in round 1. Like, I don't see him lasting 2 rounds, and you give me an extra half round all day long, I'll make this bet. How about you?
Yeah, so like I totally agree with you. Like, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and like Nikita honestly is an extremely skilled fighter, both on the ground, both in the grappling realm. I think he's a Wusha Sanda type of guy, so he does a lot of tripping. He's just really good everywhere, man. The guy is extremely skilled. The guy is cardio's on point. He's Fyodor's pupil, just so you know. Like, I don't know if you knew that. Like, this is a guy that Fyodor grew up like training, I guess. So he's one of his pupils. He's like highly regarded. Like, everything I read about this guy, this guy's like the next big thing, I guess, like in Russia. Like he's highly regarded, right? And watching him on tape, honestly, he's really good. I went back and watched that Muhammad Imanov fight. And this guy, Muhammad Imanov, he's 18-1. He's an absolute killer, man. Like, I watched this guy's other fights just to see, like, kind of gauge, like, he's 18-1. How good is this guy? Because he kind of won the first round against Mikhailov in that first round. He won it. But dude, Mikhailov like absolutely dominated this guy in the second and third round. Like the way he came back, the way he dominated. And this Imanov guy is like an extremely good grappler. And this guy was out grappling him in the second and third. So like just watching this guy, like very, very impressive. That was like a really, really good win in my eyes, because this guy Imanov, I'm telling you, he's really, really good. And then, you know, going back and watching the fight against his last fight where he won by decision. But remember, this guy, Brian Moore, is a vet, fought everybody and anybody. Like he's fought really good fighters, and like AJ McKee, Daniel Weichel. He almost had AJ McKee out of there in the second round. If you watch that fight, Brian Moore almost had him out of there. And, you know, it's a good win. He dominated, I guess, in the third round. He kind of got stuck on bottom for a little bit, but like he dominated that fight and easily won it. And now he's fighting a tomato can, if you ask me, compared to who he's fought. So Schutt like has nothing for him. Like the guy's a wrestler, but like he has no striking. He has no like grappling, like submission grappling. Like how is he gonna threat this guy? Like I don't think he's gonna take him down. Like I said, he's faced guys, you know, in Imanov, who's a 10 times better grappler than what Schutt is. So I don't know how Schutt wins. I don't even know how Schutt survives. Under 2.5, I actually played it. You know, I set it on the spaces at plus 140, but I looked back at my I played it at plus 165 for a unit and a half.
Beautiful.
Which I got it kind of early on Bet Online. And yeah, I kind of said it in chat with you, if you remember in our DMs. I said, like, this skill advantage is so huge that you got to take plus 165 for the under 2.5. So yeah, I love that spot. That's probably, you know, one of my favorite spots on the card. I think Mikhailov is going to finish this guy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a great way to get the line down on guys. You know, like why bet the money line when you can bet him just to murder the guy in 2.5 rounds at plus money?
Like here's the thing too. Like you have to think about this, right? When a guy is minus 1,100, minus 1,200, that line kind of tells you that this guy's going to finish the fight, because if you're minus 1,100 and going to decision, you're not covering that 1,200. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's most likely guys that are that heavily juiced most likely have a huge skill advantage, which in turn gives you a finish. And there's nothing to show Schutt is like some, like, you know, guy that can survive, or he's like, you know, a powerhouse or something, or a great chin. There's nothing on tape that shows that. So I think he's going to get out grappled. I think he's just going to get dominated, honestly. So yeah, we talked enough about that fight. Let's move on. Fight number 4. It is Hercules Dalton Rasta going up against Dwayne Johnson. You know, on the Johnson side, I will say this guy has good hands. He's a 3-time Golden Glove champ for boxing. He's a Muay Thai champ. He trains at Sanford. So the guy has really good hands, and the stand-up is good. But, you know, like his opposition is not great. He's got a couple of losses, kind of, you know, questionable to a guy that was 0-1. Lost to a guy in Austin Jones, you know, at the time was only 5-4. So really questionable losses. Strength of opposition is a very, very, very low, like really bad guys that he's beat. And now he's stepping up to fight an absolute killer in Rasta, who honestly, when I watched this guy's tape, when he went up against Tony Johnson, and I like Tony Johnson. Like, Tony Johnson has good grappling. Tony Johnson has really good hands. And like Rasta, like, was for 3 rounds right there with him in the striking. You know, he's super fast with his hands for a guy that's jacked like him. Usually these guys are like slower, like they're not fast. He's got a really crisp jab, really nice jab to the body. The guy is just like a tank, man. Like, I think he's just going to be able to take Johnson down and kind of dominate. But like, I'm not willing to lay, minus 800, not even in parlays, not even, it's just one of those things like where Rasta kind of likes striking at times, and I don't think it's going to be a good idea like to strike in long periods against the guy that's kind of skilled on the feet, So, yeah, for me, it's a complete pass. I got nothing. But, yeah, I'm picking Rasta to kind of easily win here.
What do you think about the over 1.5 minus 155 and under 1 plus 125 in this fight?
Yeah, honestly, I don't if I was to pick a side, I probably go over because like Rasta's like to me is not like a huge finisher. So, but I could see like if he takes this guy to the ground, and let's say in the beginning of the fight, and Rasta's like, forget it, I'm not even going to strike. I'm just going to go straight for takedowns, take this guy down, and smash him. I could see it, but I also could see Rasta like stay. He likes to strike, like even against Guerder, even against Johnson. I think he's the better grappler. Why are you not taking this fight to the ground? He decides to strike the whole fight almost. So not until later he decides to take the fight to the ground. So I don't know. Like if I was to take a play, I'd probably take the plus money in the under. But again, like I'm not gonna play because it's 1.5. And I think Rasta kind of plays with his food, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't take the path of least resistance.
Yeah, it's like the last fight with what we were talking about with Nikita versus this. When you say like, all right, minus like 1.5 versus the 2.5, like the 2.5 on Nikita is just a no brainer. I would even bet the 1.5 on Nikita, so then it makes plus money just even more insane. This one's a little bit, the line is just, I think it's a little bit sharper. I'm going to probably stay away from it as well. But yeah, Mushroom just said it. This dude is an absolute beast. He looks like Hercules. Isn't that his nickname? Is Hercules?
I think, is it?
I think it is his nickname.
Oh, yeah, it is Hercules.
Okay, yeah. It's right. It's right on the money.
I mean, guy's an absolute monster. So I'm just honestly, what's more impressive to me is being that jacked and big and muscles on top of muscles and being as quick as he is with striking. Because those guys, I'm telling you, they're usually their striking comes and it's very slow, but he's not slow at all. Like his 1-2 is really good. And he has a lot of head movement. Like he moves his head a lot, which is good. He doesn't leave it on the center line. Moving on, fight number 5. It is the veteran Sayad Awad going up against Chris Gonzalez. What do you have here, Tim?
You got Sadawad, who's coming in at 38 years old. Chris Gonzalez is, I believe, 29 years old. Gonzalez, the favorite in this situation. I think he is -2. What is the line right now? He started off -275. Do you have the line on this one? He's a good wrestler, counter striker. He keeps his distance. He's hittable if pressured. He fights pretty close fights. The one knock that was his last fight, which I believe is why the line has kind of gone down in this particular fight, is he lost to Goichi Yamauchi by KO, and that dude is a BJJ monster, and he does not strike well, and he looked like Floyd Mayweather on the feet against him in that particular fight. Whether or not Sadawad can do that or not, I mean, he can. He fought for dog money. He fought and won on dog money last fight. He is experienced. He's got, his cardio is legit poo though. So he doesn't have very much time to actually go for what he's going to do. And if maybe he wins the first round, it's a situation where I don't see the value in the dog in this situation. How about you? What do you see?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. By the way, Daz just told us Rashad Evans by decision, and I was wrong. I said, no, I have a play on Rashad Evans, but I was wrong in the fact that this line got absolutely steamed to plus 220 in like 20 minutes prior to the fight. Got steamed to plus 220. It's like, someone know anything that we don't know? And I kind of got scared, but Rashad Evans was the right side, and I thought he was, but that kind of scared me when I saw that. But hey, he came through for us. I don't know if you had a bet on Rashad. Did you?
No, I didn't. I was hyping that play all week. I think that was one of the best bets all week long.
Yeah, I played him. I just Checo's like watching his tape. He's absolutely horrid on the feet. So I
zero path to victory minus a wind blowing over.
Like how does he win? Right? Like, is he going to be able to take Rashad Evans down? Like, I didn't think so. No. Rashad Evans, like high level wrestler, like he's not taking Evans down, even though Evans is old. Checo's old too. Like, he's not taking this guy down. So, like, how the hell does he win? Not on the feet.
I wonder if Checo actually hit him like once, and if he could actually chin check him. I wonder if anybody has any
I didn't
knowledge
watch
on that.
anybody watch a fight in chat. Like, tell us, did he get chin checked, anything, or did Rashad just dominate? Which I'm gonna assume he dominated. But yeah, I heard it in the space. Would have loved to have betted. Oh, I'm sorry, Daz. I mean, I had a bet on it. I told you, but like, line movement like that scares me. Like, last second, it's always, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, I think like we were talking about. I think we were talking about in the spaces. I just feel sometimes like you get the guys that are really smart on line movement. And they just see which way it's going. They feel like, why bet it now if it just keeps dropping down? And then they're 20 minutes away from the fight and they see their opportunity and they're like, I'm just going to hammer this line now. But I agree with you totally though too that there are people that have this information that you don't have and they're waiting as well. So yeah, you never know.
I mean, injuries, stuff like that. We're not going to know stuff like that. And somebody knows, like, somebody's injured and they hammer to the other side, right? So he's Philip just told us he hardly got hit, which I kind of expected. Like, Checo sucks striking. So yeah, for me, like, on this side, Awad side, like, so Awad is very experienced, yes. You know what you said about Gonzalez getting knocked out by Yamachi, it does not look good, because Yamachi, like, 99% of his wins are by decision or submission. So it wasn't a good look for him. But, like, you know, Awad, like, he's the type of guy, honestly, I don't trust with my money, and he won't fight for your money. He's that guy. Like, I know in the UFC I was talking about who was it that got canceled? The Canadian guy. God, I'm drawing a blank. He got canceled this past UFC. He was like a plus whatever, huge underdog, and the fight got canceled because the other guy was it? Yeah, but anyways, I was saying that's the guy that will fight for your money. Awad is just not that guy that fights for your money, man. Like, he's not that guy. You know, and you know, he's been through a lot. The guy has 37 fights. He's 38 years old. He's not young. So you're banking on a guy that's like 8 years older. You know, he's not the fresher guy. Like, there's a lot of, less cardio. There's a lot of things that I don't trust with Sayad Awad. So I just think this line is about proper right now. It's minus 210, plus 175, plus 180 in spots. So I really, if I played anything, it'd probably be dog or pass. But for me, it's a no play, honestly. Moving on, it is the next fight number 6. It is Darian Caldwell going up against Enrique Barzola. And yeah, I'll start this one off. Jack came up with the name. It's Charles Jourdain, exactly. A guy that fights for your money. Like, I'm willing to put money on a guy like this. Like, he's gonna fight. He's gonna get killed in there, or he's gonna kill you. So I like guys like that. But yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it, Jack. Talking about Darian Caldwell and Barzola, right? Another guy, Darian Caldwell, like, super skilled, like, good wrestling, really good wrestling. Like, the guy is really good. Fought really good opposition, but a guy that, like, does not fight for your, like, I don't know how to explain it. The guy does not fight for your money, right? Leandro Higo last fight. Absolutely should have won that fight, but he decided to he had, like, top position in the second round for like 2-3 minutes and decided to throw like 2 or 3 strikes while Higo from bottom landed like 20 or 30 and literally won the round from bottom. And I don't know what it is with this guy. Like he's so skilled. He's got great wrestling. All the measurables. He's long, 5'10", 73-inch reach for 135, right? This guy has all the measurables to be really, really good. But, like, kind of, like, this is the guy that choked out Adam Borix, man. Borix is a really good fighter. And, he beat him. He's beat Corrales, lost to really good guys, like I said. But another guy that, honestly, I would like to back in this spot, but I don't trust him. And to me, like, Enrique Barzola is going to have the cardio edge, I believe. But Barzola has a fight IQ problem too. Like, going back and watching his UFC fights, like, guy kind of, like, cruises at times thinking he's winning. Lost the decision to Kevin Aguilar. That's a very, very bad look. I don't know what to say like about this guy. Like he doesn't no urgency, I guess, from this guy. He's got very good cardio, does things, but then kind of like lets his foot off the gas or something, if that makes sense. So I just think the grappling edge is going to be Caldwell. He's just a better wrestler, like high level wrestler. But he doesn't do a lot, and the one thing Barzola is going to do is going to make you work. He's going to make you work. He's going to try to get up. He's not going to just lay there. So the thing is, like, who's the more skilled fighter to me? It's Caldwell, but the cardio and the heart just seems to be better on the Barzola side. So for me right now, I mean, it's a kind of like a minus 128, plus 104, in that range, almost a pick 'em type of fight. So it's a complete pass. Like I think that line's viable, and I just don't have a side here. What do you got?
I think that's just a great read all the way around by you there. Yeah, it's just no plays at all for me here. Sit back, just get some popcorn and watch it. I would say that the opposite of what you were saying for Caldwell is true on Barzola, that he will fight for your money if he loses a round or loses a round or two. He will still battle his ass off all the way. He might not, like you say, he might not do incredible damage, but he will fight for your money. So in those situations, it's like, if you're a degenerate and you're just looking to get action on this situation, I would bet on the guy that has better cardio and will fight for your money more, typically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. If you're gonna make a play, I think cardio edge definitely Barzola. Fight for your money, definitely Barzola. Um, but I was tempted a little, honestly, to like play the under 2.5. I was kind of looking at it, but like Barzola is not much of a finisher. Like every one of his fights, like decision, goes to decision a lot. And like
how is his sub game? I mean, like it's not good enough.
Defensively, you mean defensively or
offensively?
Like, no, he's not
Yeah.
that good. Like he doesn't go for it. He's more like position over submission type of guy. Like lays in the guard. So, like if anything, if anybody's gonna stop anybody here, it's probably going to be Caldwell and not
Right.
Barzola. And I wonder what that is. Is there a line on that at all?
I don't think so. I don't have it on DK.
When inside the distance, there's nothing.
Just the over under, just the time props.
No, actually, there might be. Yeah, there is.
Is there?
It's minus 110 on Caldwell's side. Inside the distance, no action if it goes to the decision. So okay. I don't know. I might actually play that, honestly, at minus 110, because I don't see Barzola finishing. Like I honestly don't. Like I don't know how Barzola finishes. He just doesn't.
That's well, I was trying to look more for like a pointers type of like the over under type situation. Looking at the time props, that's why I asked.
Oh, like a time prop thing? No, they don't have that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So if I probably took anything, it'd be something like that, where I think the only guy that probably finishes here is Caldwell, but. Yeah, I mean, Barzola is very durable, too. So it's just a pass, honestly. No need to force plays, right?
Absolutely.
Moving on. Fight number 7. It's Sabah Homasi going up against Jaleel Willis. Is it you? Yeah, it's you. Go ahead.
Good matchup here. Be killed type fighter in Sabah Homasi. Dude goes for it. Really exciting fights. He's got some good power in his hands. Typically going to give you about 7 minutes of good action on his side, and then he starts to tail off each minute pretty hard. Willis, on the other hand, is pretty much a counter striker. He's going to have a wrestling background, so he'll have an edge in takedowns and being able to get the fight to the ground if necessary. What I saw a prop on him by sub at plus 12 to 1 or plus 1200, which. Like in one of his fights, he like as soon as he got the guy down, he instantly went for subs. Like it wasn't even like he didn't care about position. So in that situation, man, if you give me 12 to 1 on that, I will be taking a small stab on that just in case, because I do feel he's going to try to get to the fight to the ground, at least in the first round when some danger is coming his way toward from Homasi. What do you think so far on this one?
Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree with your points. Like Homasi hits pretty hard, kind of a wild man, so he's dangerous on the feet. In his last, I think 2 fights ago against Paul Daly, like, dude, it was an insane fight. I think Hamasi hurt Daly in that fight. If I'm not mistaken, he hurt him pretty bad, but then Daly came back and knocked him out eventually. So, yeah, like, watching that Koroshev fight kind of like turned me off of Hamasi, just how easily Koroshev dominated him. But Korshev's a good fighter. And if there was a fighter that, Hamasi fought that I can compare kind of to Jaleel Willis, it's the Ultimate Fighter fight. If you watched it, I don't know if you did, against Carrington Banks. Carrington Banks is a wrestler kind of similar to Jaleel Willis. And honestly, he looked really good in that fight against Banks, like defending takedowns. Like, I know he lost the fight, but it was a very, very close fight. And like, he defended takedowns really, really good, underhooks every time. I mean, when he got taken down, got stood up right away. Like, everything he did was good in that fight, which kind of like leads me to think like Hamasi might be the side here. But again, that's a while ago, and this guy's had a lot of fights under his belt since. Been to some wars, been knocked out multiple times. And Willis is honestly not like a big hitter or anything, but I just think Willis is the minute winner here for the most part.
Absolutely.
But he's got to watch out. Like, honestly, like this is probably one of those. Let's see if Hamasi, we can get inside the distance, no action. Yeah, actually plus 150 on Hamasi. Inside the distance, no action is not bad. I don't think Jaleel can finish him, honestly. He's not like a great submission grappler, and he doesn't have a lot of power, right? I think I might play that, honestly. Plus 150 on Hamasi. Inside the distance and no action on scorecards. So
yeah, even money. It's plus 100 on Willis to win by points, and then the 12-1 stab on a sub that might be there, especially late if he gets tired.
I could see it. I mean, it's possible. It's just that Willis, like, he's not a big finisher either throughout his career. So, and Hamasi's honestly, he's kind of durable when it comes to submission. The game, I don't think he's been submitted for a while, like really early in his career.
Yeah, that's based on more of a gas concept, more just, when these guys gas out.
And yeah, he does gas. I mean, he does gas. So, yeah, good points. We really don't have any plays here. Moving on, fight number 8, it's Henry Corrales going up against Aiden Lee. And another spot, honestly, like, I avoided a lot. There wasn't many great spots on this card unless it was early on the card. But these later fights, Aiden Lee minus 129 now. The line got hammered. I mean, if you got him at plus 160, plus 145, God bless you. That's a good bet. But at this point, minus 129, going up against the guy in Henry Corrales, who, historically very durable, historically, a guy has a good chin, really, really powerful puncher. We saw that, he knocked out Pico, who's, a guy that's highly regarded now. But then you go back and watch the Campbell fight, like Campbell just with attrition and kind of like cardio basically beat Corrales, and ended up Corrales like kind of giving up in that fight. But then his last fight in Bellator against that Perbachenko guy, he came back and won the fight pretty unanimously. And it's just a fight where Aiden Lee, I think if he gets this to the ground, is the way better grappler. But on the feet, I kind of favor Corrales because of his power, man. Like Aiden Lee is long, like he's the longer guy here and everything, but like I don't think he has a lot of power. And now he's facing a guy in Henry Corrales who has a ton of power. So I don't know. I don't have a play honestly here, but what's your take on this fight?
I totally agree. Yeah, it's a really tough read. I agree with you that if it's standing, it's a much closer fight, 50-50. And if it hits the ground, it leaves at a very, very big advantage. Be interesting to see what his game plan is going in, because he is a Muay Thai striker and he does like his kicks. Interesting. He has finished a bunch of his finishes are 5, I think 6 wins by sub. So he's dangerous if it does get to the ground too. So I be interested to see kind of, does he take it there? Does he, what is his game plan? Because you just never know. But I'm with you. The money line has been beat down too much. But if you got in early, it was a great bet.
What I will say is probably is a good bet now that I look at it because I didn't really look at this. Aiden Lee by submission is plus 450. And when you look at Corrales, he's got a lot of submission losses, compared to his total losses. So
I like that a lot.
1, 2, he's got 3 submission losses out of 6. So half of them are by sub. And the one thing I will say, Lee is so damn long. He's got long limbs. And I think, if he gets a back take on this guy, he probably can.
That's why he sinks into chokes. It's so easy for him with those long arms to just get him in.
Long arms and long legs.
Yep.
It's hard to get out of the body triangle if he's got your back. You're screwed basically for Corrales.
Yep.
And Corrales got just recently subbed by a guy that's not a great grappler, Johnny Campbell. So I don't know. Yeah, I might play that actually. Now that I look at it, I think I'm gonna play the plus 450. It's on Bet Online. I think I'm gonna make it an official play of mine for probably half a unit.
It's our Lambo play.
Lambo play there. Yeah. There you go. I backed myself in a corner and I got a play here. Good points though. Fight number 9. It is Benson Henderson going up against Islam Mamadav. What do you got here, bro? I see you got notes on this.
I got to flip over on this one, man. I took some notes on Benson. No, not Benson. I'm sorry, on Mamadav. It's going to be just a grind type fight. I really think the style of Benson at this point is he's super dusty. I mean, you're not getting the same guy that you saw 4 years ago, 6 years ago. He's just completely a shell of what he used to be. Unfortunately, no disrespect. But it's a fight where the line makes no sense to me, even though I'm saying that. So I was talking with you and Tajik and Sean earlier about, just taking a long shot on a prop like a plus 650 by points for Benson Henderson. And, he's going to be in his hometown or home state in Arizona. Maybe he's got a couple judges paid off and they can get a split decision at 22-1 on DK, it's greasy as hell, but is it possible that he could eke out a dirty decision against him? Possible, yes. Mamadav is not like the typical OV type of, you're paying for these guys where they're the Russian fighter where he's just going to Khabib you and just constantly take you down and hold you in these positions where you can do nothing. If by chance he gets reversed or swept at any point, he doesn't do very much off his back and he's willing to stay there as well. So it just minus 450 makes no sense. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't have a play here. Watching this guy Mamadav, he's impressive to me. I think he's skilled everywhere. Very good striking, very good ground game. Watching this guy, he's a bigger dude too. He's 6 foot, 73-inch reach. He's gonna be much bigger than Henderson in this fight. And but you also make good points on the Henderson side. Benson's been in the game forever. He's seen everything and anything. I doubt there's anything Islam's going to throw at him that is going to be like, oh, wow. I've never seen this. Guy's seen everything. But the question is, the guy is 38 years old. He's kind of declining, has lost 3 in a row. It's just all the things that have pointed to a decline, right? I know the guys that he's lost to, Chandler, Jason Jackson, Brett Primus, these guys are all really good fighters and whatever. Brett Primus kind of, good fight, but he dominated the ground game. But it's can you actually say that Mamadav is going to look minus 400 against a guy Henderson that's absolutely seen everything, minus 420 now? Mamadav just went to a split decision win against who do you go a split decision win recently?
I don't have any terminology.
Brett Primus.
Yeah.
I mean, his last fight, split decision win, right? He didn't dominate, and we saw Benson Henderson. It wasn't complete domination by Primus. It was a pretty close fight, right? But Primus won the fight. But it wasn't complete domination. So minus 420, it just feels like the line is a little too big.
You don't think he finishes Benson, do you?
No, man.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like Benson's so damn durable. Man.
Yeah, like here's the play. Here's the play. Like you do it three ways.
He's not subbing Benson Henderson. I'm telling you that.
Right. So like there's three good bets I feel in this one. If you're going prop wise, if you go minus 165 on Mamedov to win by points, is the absolute most likely thing that's going to happen. Right. I don't mind that line minus 165. Right. But then if you hit up Benson at plus 650 to win by decision, your hedge is perfect. And then you put like 0.5 units or 0.05 or 0.1 units on a split decision. If you have something like that at 22-1, it's just beautiful. Like you have potential to get hit huge if Benson wins, and you bet 80% or 85% of your bet on Mamedov to win by points, and you're pretty much covered every way because the fight's pretty much going to hit the cards 85-95% of the time in this fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, make a good point. Like, just look at the over/under, right? Over 2.5 minus 265. What does that tell you?
Exactly.
This fight, they're looking at it to go to the cards. And you know what I don't hate? Like you just mentioned, and I didn't even look at it. Benson Henderson by split majorities plus 2,200. Like knowing the fight is going to get there.
And they're in Arizona.
And one more thing. Like I said, he just fought a split decision against Brent Primus. What makes you think this can't be a split decision against Benson Henderson? Like I'm probably going to play that line plus 2,200, but like I don't have the biggest confidence in Benson Henderson here, just because, like again, the guy is like probably on a decline, but man, he could surprise us, man. Like the one thing I will say, Benson Henderson is always in shape. Like the dude's always in shape. He's a career, martial artist. Like that, the guy's gonna come in, and he's a guy that's probably gonna come in great shape, and just 3 rounds is not gonna affect him. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna take a stab at plus 2,200 split decision. I really like that. Good point. With that being said, we will move on to the main event and last fight. It is the main event of the night. Ryan Bader going up against Valentin Moldavsky. Go ahead and kick this one off, Tim.
First of all, I think the nickname change from Ryan Darth Bader to Ryan Master Bader is absolutely hilarious. That's one of the greatest things ever. They didn't let him do it in the UFC, so now he's taking his shot in Bellator. You got to love it. This is another one of those situations where okay, maybe my pick I would be 50-50. I don't know what's going on, but this line is weird. This line's been beat down. People realize that Bader at plus 200 or plus 220, which is where he was starting, is now plus 170 or plus 175. So, the people know, and they got in on the bet, and they made good bets. That's just a smart way to go. There's just no way there's nothing about Valentin Moldavsky that says, okay, he's got the power to knock you out. He's got this one strike, ability that even like tremendous volume, tremendous takedown ability and grappling. There's nothing there that you say, oh man, this guy wows me by anything that he does. It's a situation where he's like average or just a little above average at everything and not really good at anything. And you get a situation where Bader, what you're going to get out of him. You guy's going to fight for your money. He's a better hammer than he is a nail. He's had much better success fighting up at heavyweight than he has at light heavyweight for whatever reason. I don't know. But I like to put my money on guys that are going to be wrestle heavy, are going to go for takedowns consistently, can do it from round 1 through round 5, have the cardio to do that. And it just doesn't make any sense to not bet on the dog in this situation, especially at the plus 200 money. How about you?
Yeah, you know what? Someone mentioned in chat, Mushroom's asking, any thoughts on Moldavsky rounds 3, 4, and 5 sprinkles? What I will say is, I'll give you a pretty good nugget, and I said it in Spaces. Ryan Bader in his 7 losses has been stopped 7 times. So guy's been stopped every single time, but outlier, he's always been stopped in the first and second round. So he's never been stopped later. So it looks like he's the type of guy that if he survives the 1-2, he's usually surviving. It's just from historically, because he has a big sample size, right? Guy has 35 fights, 7 losses. All 7 been stopped in the first and second round. So, you can sprinkle it because Moldavsky, might have the better cardio here because just lately, I don't know, Bader does not look good. Like even cardio wise, look like he's just dumping really, really hard. And the other thing you mentioned is like he's looked a lot worse at heavyweight than he was at light heavyweight.
No, light heavyweight, he looked worse than
Oh,
heavyweight.
light, yeah, because I think he kind of drains himself, right, to get to heavyweight because he's like a thicker dude, kind of bigger. Um, and then I guess age has something to do with it too, right? Because when you're at 38, 37, 36, and you're trying to cut weight to 205, it probably drains you more, right? So he just doesn't want to do the cut anymore, and I don't blame him at this stage.
There's that competition at light heavyweight. There's no way he's winning there. I mean, I think that he just realizes there's no chance.
Yeah, it's no chance. I mean, and his chin might be compromised, honestly, at the because of the cut, right?
Yep.
I always say that, like, people need to know that because when you lose a lot of weight or you're cutting a lot of weight to a fight, one of the things that gets compromised is your chin because when you rehydrate, and I read this before, when you rehydrate, your body rehydrates, but a lot of times your body itself, you feel good, but your brain does not rehydrate well. So that what happens with that is when you get hit, like if you're not rehydrated up there, you get concussed or whatever, you're out, you know? So
Chito Vera made an incredibly great point on Joe Rogan's podcast about exactly this, and people don't realize it at all. He said every time you do a weight cut, it's like getting knocked out. And so when you see these guys that in situations where this actually happens a bunch, where like Barcelos had this situation with Victor Henry, where they have to make like 3 weight cuts, and you're like, it's insane. It's like you're getting knocked out like 3 times, and the difference of what this does to your body physiologically is insane, and people have no idea of the consequences of what it does to your body. And you would think the logical side, like the square side, is like, okay, well, they're heavier. Of course, they're gonna be able to take a bigger punch when they go down in weight. You're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. They're gonna cut weight. They're gonna lose their chin because of cutting weight, and it's just proven over and over and over. That point is just so on point.
yeah, I honestly I learned it. I gotta give a shout out to the one championship president. He's the one I listened to him one time, and because they have like a special weight cutting thing, you don't have to weight cut in one championship. So he was talking about why in one championship they don't make their fighters weight cut, and that's what he mentioned. He said people don't realize that when you rehydrate for fights, if it's a very tough weight cut, yes, your body rehydrates, you're feeling good, you look good, but your brain doesn't get enough water and doesn't rehydrate, and that's the problem. That's why fighters get knocked out easier when it's a tougher cut. So that he's I learned it from him, and I try to like put it out there for people to know that when you cut a lot of weight, it's usually not good for your chin, man. And so yeah, I mean Bader, honestly, I wouldn't take those 3, 4, 5 props mushroom. Um, but if you want to take, and I'm not saying I took it, but Moldavsky round 1, round 2 might be something you want to look at because it's possible because it's history with Bader. Like he gets knocked out early. I know Moldavsky's not a huge hitter, but he can wrestle some. He didn't look great against Johnson or Nelson, but those are like huge heavyweights too. And Moldavsky himself is not a big heavyweight, right? This guy's, to me, he's kind of like a Bader, right? He's like an in between, like light heavyweight / heavyweight, because he's not a big guy. Like he's only 6'1". He's always weighing in at like 230, 235, 229. So he's not a big heavyweight, right? This guy's smaller for the heavyweight division, kind of like Bader size. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a play honestly on this fight. Like
I like the Bader by points plus 400, and then I think Bader by split. I like these split decisions. Bader by split is 16-1, but Bader by decision and 4-1 is not bad at all.
do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think Moldavsky can get some grappling going against Bader, like taking him down and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think it's he does so much work in the clinch, and he does so much work pushing people against the cage that like it's definitely possible. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Vassell fight, I watched some of that, and Like Vassell had him on the ground in the first round, the whole round. I even think he got him in mount at some point in that first round. And Vassell is kind of similar. I want to say kind of similar to Bader in that he's career 205er, right? And he moved up to heavyweight and had success taking this Moldavsky guy down in the first round. So, I mean, it's a close fight. I think if you're gonna play anything, you play Bader at plus money here, plus 180ish, 190ish, actually 205 now. I see on FanDuel. You can get Bader at 205. So yeah, that's kind of off the market because everywhere else I'm seeing 179, 175, 170. So you're getting plus 205 on FanDuel. If you're gonna play Bader, that's the place to play him. Yeah, I don't have much else. Anything else to add to this main event, Tim?
Not at all.
Yeah, so I don't really have a play. With that being said, I just want to thank everybody that's here in chat. There's 10 of you in chat. Thank you very much. This was kind of a short stream. I didn't want to make it long. There wasn't a bunch of plays that we had, but I also want to thank Tim for joining me.
Thanks as always, Mike.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you being on here. Thank you to all the people in chat like Daz, Jack, Philip, Mushroom. Thank you very much. Even my wife is in here now. She's saying hi. My wife is on her iPad watching me upstairs. So, yeah, thank you very much to everybody. We'll be back next week with our UFC Lambo Plays breakdown on Friday with me, Tajik, and maybe Tim joins us again on Friday. If you guys have any other questions, parlay, please. Sorry. Mushroom wants a parlay. I need a sweat tomorrow, but you only need it on the main card, right? Mushroom. You can only play the main card. He's not answering.
I would go. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second to work something here. Try to figure something out for you. All right, there you go.
Go ahead.
I got one. I got Bader by decision. I have Ben Parrish, Sullivan Colley under 1.5, and Mikhailov versus Shutt under 2.5 at 17-1.
All right, I'll give him one. I would take. Here's mine. Aiden Lee. I would take the under 2.5 on the Mikhailov shoot, the over 1.5 in the Lugo Brennan, and let me see a last one for you. Jaleel Willis minus 225. Yeah, so those would be my. If you want to take that, Mushroom, I like those 4 plays. Even though I don't like Jaleel Willis at minus 235 to bet straight, I think he wins the fight just by grappling. Like, I just think he wins by points. He's probably not going to cover 235, but yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody again for joining us. We'll be back next Friday. That's about it, guys. Take it easy.